that's where the money goes, and this is just for everybody to know. All your donations, where they go, what we do with your money. So, we like everything open here. Obviously, there are many projects that we couldn't put on that DVD because there's much more that we have done. But otherwise, it's too long and people get bored with watching all this stuff. And the idea of making the DVD is not really to say, oh, we did this. It's not. The idea of the DVD is to let people know what we're doing with your money and how we think of service. Today's topic is as you think, you become. And I just thought it was really appropriate to show a DVD of service, because so many of us in our lives get so caught up in everyday matters that we think we make our world so small in the pettiness of it. Things that are so irrelevant, things that are so unimportant. Sometimes it takes a death to wake us up, but that's a little late. When somebody in our family gets really sick, and then we start, I wish I'd done more with my life, and it's too late then. We've wasted so much time whiling away our hours, so much time on things that are not important. And the whole idea of as you think you become is precisely that. If you think high, if you spend your mind, your time in your mind, thinking of different things to serve, to love, to give, if you wake up in the morning and what can I do for the world today? How can I make it a better world? Then you will make it a better world. Your life will be better with it. Everything that if you look at your life today and you say, poor me, ask yourself why. You're saying, poor me, what's going to happen? You're going to be poor. You're going to. It's the law of attraction. Many people come to me and say, oh, I don't know why God punishes me. I don't know why God punishes me. I ask them, ask yourself. Ask yourself, what is your way of thinking? Why is God punishing me? What have you done in your life? What have you done in your life? So many people come to me and say, oh, Nalanie, I don't know why God is punishing me. I'm such a good person. And I ask them, how are you so good? Sorry to be so rude and so direct, but what makes you so good? I look after my family. But who doesn't? Who doesn't? I think that's our born birthright, our duty, right? To look after your family. I think it's normal. What have you done for anybody else? How have you walked the extra mile for anybody else? Have you? No. Oh, I'll help you when it suits me. That's not helping. That's when it suits you. That's totally selfish. There's nothing to do with helping. It's very convenient. All of us can help when it suits us. What makes giving so special? What makes your life so special? It really is when you put your mind into service. And service not for anything you want back in return. Service because service heals. Chandra said to me the other day, after my husband passed away 4 years ago, the one thing I kept saying is, the one thing that healed me was service. When I could dive into just seeing other people suffering much more than my own, which is what I did. I was very grateful for that gift, very grateful that I could see, I lost a husband, but I'm young enough to start again and to change things. I'm young enough. Thank God I've been blessed with a mind that I have my own work. I wasn't trapped in following him everywhere. I had my own independence. And I saw women and men who didn't have that, and how much more they suffered. And people who lost their partners when they were 75 or 80, and there's nowhere to go after that. And I thought my suffering was nothing compared to people like that. Because what do they do at that age? If I felt so much pain, what does somebody who's 75 loses a partner feel? After so many years together and so many years of retirement together, how do they feel? And they can't start again. There's no new jobs to distract them. There's no new ways. They're too tired. The body is too old. So, when you put your mind into service, into thinking that, I'm not the poor me one here. This is life. Pain comes to all. And when Chandra said to me, she remembered those words after she lost her husband a few months ago. And she said to me, just 2 days ago, 3 days ago, right? She said to me, Nalanie, you are absolutely right. It's one thing you told me after Shanky died is when you dive into service, it gives you peace. And she said, that is what's happened to me. And she only lost her beloved husband a few months ago. And she's diving into service. But not just service as we call, oh, you got to do something for someone. No, it's waking up. She thinks about her daughters a lot, you know. That feeling of, you know, it's not poor me. My daughters need me also. You know, my grandchildren need me also. I need to sort out the business. I need to fix everything, make everything right for those who are living. That's service. She didn't dwell in, oh, poor me syndrome. I'm so young. I lost my husband. What am I going to do? He left me with business and bills and this and that. No, it's none of that. And yeah, when you've lost someone, it really is quite hard because your mind goes into a black place. It just goes black. And to have that spirit awaken in the darkness, because that's the only thing you have in your worst times, I'm going to tell you that. When you get in touch with your spirit, at your blackest times, when your mind just doesn't work anymore, your spirit takes over. And this is what spiritual practice is spending all those years educating your spirit, your soul, educating your mind to think right. That's what you're doing. That's spiritual practice. What is the point of going to temples or coming here and being so nice on the outside, and then you go home and you swear at your family, or you slap someone, you know, or you take drugs, you know? What's the point? You're cheating yourself. Your spirit is watching you. Your soul is watching you. You cannot escape from that. You can never escape from that. You think you can fool people on this earth? Temporarily. You have to die and leave this earth, and who's going to be watching you there? Thousands of souls are watching you all the time. You see, we are here. We really are here. And we just have to really tell ourselves this truth, which is so basic. We are souls living in a physical body. And that is so basic. We are not material. This is matter. Matter goes into dust. We're much more than matter. This is temporary. This is our school to learn who we are, our spirit. And if we don't practice and educate ourselves and remind ourselves, we are never going to experience peace and joy while we're living on this earth. What we're going to experience is all the pain. And really, we don't need to experience so much pain. We make things worse for ourselves by the way we think. So how do we escape from this way of being? Simply, every morning getting up and reminding ourselves, reminding, who am I really? You know, until you know it so well that you never have to remind yourself anymore. Like, I know I'm not Nalanie. Nalanie is that person on this earth so long as I have this body. But after that, who is Nalanie? This will go into ashes for sure. I'm definitely getting cremated. And so who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And by reminding myself, for me, this practice, every day. Now I don't need to, I just know. You know, I walk in this body. I know I walk in this body. The body is on loan. And all of us need to wake ourselves up. Why? Because when we wake ourselves, who am I? Who am I? And you start to realize you're really spirit, you know, spirit embodied, simply, then you will live more with your spirit. You know, I always used to tell my students in the early days, we buy insurance for a car, for our homes, life insurance, which they won't give you anymore, right? You know, Chandra went to ask for life insurance. You know what they told her? Tell them what they told you.
It was what do you call him? Ill insurance, critical insurance. They said they don't give
critical health insurance.
Critical health insurance. They're not giving anymore because a lot of people are dying.
I told her that they're not doing it. Too many people are dying.
Too many people are too much cancer, too much diseases, or they're not doing any more critical. Not for me.
So, you know, you can pay insurance on this earth, you know, and then insurance company will try and cheat you of it anyway and tell you you're not due what you're supposed to. And sorry, anybody here working in insurance, they don't make it easy. You know, they tell you when you get your insurance, you're covered for this, you know. I remember my travel insurance, you know, and I lost my luggage for 3 weeks in America, and what did I get back? Oh, we don't insure luggage on the way back. Did you read the fine print?
Did Karen get hers? Because Karen was with it. You didn't get it?
No, did you?
Did you what? Insurance? Oh, you know, for the 400 I spent, I got 60. So I gave it to the poor lady who tried to get it for me. I said, you worked so hard for it, you can keep it. No, you know, it was no point. It was so many phone calls, you know. But anyway, this is insurance on this earth. It's the way it is, right? Why don't we insure on our souls? Or on our spiritual being? I mean, that's long term. The body's here maybe 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. We don't know. You lost Bill, he was 53. I lost my husband, he was 60. So many people have lost younger people. You were telling me about that young boy on the motorbike, 17. You know, so our time here on earth is short. So why not insure on your spirit? And the only way you will insure is by talking to your spirit every day. Who am I? Who am I? What am I? Why am I here on earth? You know, why? You have to keep asking yourself this question. And many of you have gone through traumas, break up in marriages, break up in relationships, hard times with relationships, parent, children, brothers, sisters. You will ask yourself that question. Say, what's the point of all these things? What for? You know? And then you'll come to the conclusion this is all temporary. It's all temporary, and we're given all these lessons to detach us from being so possessive of what is material, so possessive of what isn't ours, thinking those things that aren't ours are always going to be ours. It is that lie, that delusion that causes pain, because that is a lie. Nothing is ours. Yes, it can belong to us temporary. Your family is yours temporary till they die, till you die. Everything is temporary, so nothing is really ours. And we're into this illusion and delusion that everything is ours. So what happens when we think that way? Our mind becomes a piece of control. We want to control things because it's ours, right? It's my child, so I want my child to be a certain way. And the moment we try to be in control, whenever we try to defy the laws of nature, guess what? They fight back. The child will fight back. Oh, I just want the best for my child. You want the best for your child, what you think is the best for your child. But your child may not want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Your child might want to be a graphic artist, or may want to dance, or want to play music. No, they'll never make any money, so they can't be happy. Let them get a professional degree, and then they're miserable ever after. Ask many lawyers. Sorry. Struggle. It's a struggle, isn't it? It's a struggle. It's a constant struggle. When you do something that is so loving to you and so open to you and so creative in you, even if it's a lawyer, be the best lawyer you can, I always say. Be the most truthful lawyer you can. Because that's the only time when being a lawyer will make sense, or being an artist will make sense, or being a musician will make sense, or being an IT expert will make sense. When you can use all these things, when you can think and use all these things to the highest they can be, And of course, in the material world, when you bring the material world to the spirit, when you bring the spiritual world to the material world, to your job, to your friends, to your family, they will always resist it. Why? Because the world at the moment is full of greed, full of ego, and full of desires to please themselves. But if you just look at that world, if you just, as students of the spirit, examine the world and watch the people that are dealing in that world and look at their faces, there's very few you find that are truly happy and peaceful. And yet they resist their spirit. They resist it. Almost thinking, if I get into my spirit, I'm not going to find happiness. And all the time struggling with the material world, struggling with their jobs, struggling with everything. And there's no peace anyway. So what we need to do with ourselves as we think we become is, first of all, like I said, remind ourselves every morning who we truly are. It will help you with many things in your life. One, you will appreciate everything because you know nothing is yours forever. Two, you will make better use of your time on earth because you know your time on earth is not forever. You will ensure that you will spend time in your spirit and in service because you know nothing else that you do is going to last in this world forever. And just that will change you every day. Because you will ask yourself, what will last forever? So you will wait that 5 minutes instead of rushing your child before going to work. Instead of forcing them out the room and say, come on, I need to get going. You will spend that 5 minutes and speak with your child or speak with your partner or have breakfast with someone because you will realize that is going to be more forever. What you inject in that person, more forever than the job that you hold. That job you hold will be there for as long as you are necessary in it, and one day out. I remember there was a man who came to me when he was retired, and he was extremely depressed. And I said, you know, what has caused this depression? You are normally an intelligent human being. He said, you know, I worked for this job for 35 years. And whilst I had a position, I was invited everywhere to all the parties, and I was very happy to be invited everywhere, and I was full of life and full of fun. And then suddenly, when I retired, everybody forgot about me. In 6 months, nobody even looked at me. Oh, hi, they would go on the street. I don't know who I am anymore, he said. That's because you based your 35 years of your life on the job and the importance of it. But now you no longer have a position that's important. No, of course they're not interested in you. And I said, but in a way it's very good you've come here, because now you can start discovering who you really are. And he started to discover the spiritual side of him. And then the work came, different work came for him. You know, he thought he could spend his days playing golf. But of course, the first 3 months of playing golf is lots of fun. But every day for 1 year, you play golf. It's really like you're feeling you're wasting your life away, isn't it? Not only that, his marriage got worse because he was at home all the time. And then he starts becoming, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of men do this when they retire, they start nagging. You didn't do the laundry today, and you become some dirt in the kitchen. And you know, when they're not home, it's fine. You do it when you do it, you know, but when they're home, it's a, oh, did you forget this? And then you're doing something else, and then, this has to be done, and then, you know, it does happen. And then the relationship gets horrible. And so nothing works. Because the mind is just thinking so basic on every day, you know, of course you have to think about your partner, and you know, if you have a partner, you should be madly in love with your partner and make that so romantic and so beautiful and so lovely. But so should you attend to the world and everything else and make that so fantastic and so romantic and so lovely, and that becomes a balance. Then everything is balanced. So when you get up, think high, you know. I always quote Chinmayananda. Here he says, high thinking, simple living. Simple living. We are now living not simply and thinking too simply. You know, too simply. We want all the latest gadgets, we want everything is new and this and that, and so many things close in the wardrobe, and fill everything up, and more things and more things and more things. But our minds is not happier. They're just not happier. If we were happy, it'd be fine, but we're not happier. What does that tell us? That these things don't really make us happy. They make us happy for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know. You buy the new outfit or the new suit or the new shirt and you're happy. It's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. But that's it for that moment till you've worn it, and then you get bored of it. Then you want the next one, the next one. And there's no peace, and there's agitation. There's so much agitation, so much fear of not being good enough or looking good enough. But for what? At the end of the day, for what? And this is a question you have to ask yourself, for what? What am I doing this? So when you go to a job, you put spirit in the job. How do you put spirit in the job? Simply putting love in the job. Walk that extra mile. Do that extra thing. You know, like I said, it's very easy to do what is expected of you. It's not that easy to give that little extra. And when you do that, you feel really good about yourself. You really do. There is something in selfless service that makes us rise beyond ourselves. That's why all the masters talk about service. Fill your head with service, but how? Not expecting anything in return. Secret, big secret, big secret. Make it public. The moment you expect something in return, I guarantee you will be disappointed. That's not really service. You're doing something because you want something back. And then you will always be locked in, I did it for you, you did it for me. Kind of like Christmas these days with the Christmas presents, isn't it? It's really, I already am hearing people stressed out. And it's only November. And I go, what are you going to do when Christmas comes? You're going to be like, oh. You know what? We make a deal. In my family, we say, none of us are going to spend more than 30 euros on each other. Finish. Maybe even less. Maybe this year we'll go less because everybody has everything. We don't really need to do anything. It's really for the kids. You know, it's really for the children, and we make it, and they know too about this deal, so they're quite happy. So they won't ask for big things. Sorry, we don't have. That's all we're doing. Because whatever extra, if we do have extra, then it will go for example, on our special needs grandchild who needs the physio and her treatments are expensive, or it will go for somebody who's in need. We have so many people to give money to. You know, so many people out of jobs in Spain now. So many people, isn't it? You know, so many people that have had good jobs and are just losing it now, and they don't have food from week to week. So there's so many other people, and you know, when you give to people who really need, it makes you really happy. But all the rest of us, we have what we need, don't we? We're already so rich. We're already so rich. And you know, again, we're going to do this yoga center. Nobody wants, and none of us want gifts. Okay, for this year. If you want to give us a gift, give it to the poor. Don't even care who you give it to. Give it to somebody who really needs it, next door to you, whatever. Give it to them. And then you'll be giving it to me. We have everything we need. Let us this year think that way. Change your families. Be the brave one. Nowadays, the kids are asking for computers at Christmas. Oh my God! Poor parents, what the hell? There's 500 for a computer or 1,000. How are you going to afford it? You know? And then the pressure, because my friend has it, and sorry, we're different. Tell my grandkids that, but they don't expect it anymore. They don't expect it, which is good. And it's so much, or we get all the family, like with my granddaughter's birthday, she wanted a Kindle because she loves reading. And my daughter said, Mom, don't spoil her. You already get clothes for them all year round. Don't spoil her. We are going to ask all the family to put in a few, 10, 20 euros in. And between us all, we'll give her one present that she's going to use because she loves the Kindle. Brilliant idea. My daughter's 100% right. 100% right. So I said, absolutely, that's what we'll do. And she's so happy, so grateful. Oh, thank you, Granny, for my Kindle. Thank you, Granny. Wow. I gave her 50 euros because it's, the others are giving 10 and 20. And then she goes, that's so much money, Granny. See the difference when you train them. Because as we think, we become. So if we train ourselves, they start learning as well. Then they appreciate things so much more. It's the same with us. We're children inside. We're children inside. And we really need to direct the way we think. We need to be in control of our thoughts, not our thoughts in control of us. And then we need to identify the thoughts that make us feel the most joyous. Identify it. And if you look at people, I did a study of people when we started SIS, and just watching the people who gave of their time because they really loved these kids or really wanted to serve or really wanted to do it in our master's name and nothing else in return was so joyous. The people who want recognition, we just put it on for people to know, like I said, because nowadays, if you don't encourage people to give, they don't give. The world has also forgotten how to give. Very few people know how to give generously. Very few. So we have to educate them again. But they do it for ego, then they have all these discussions, who's going to do this? Oh, such addict. So long as we just give. And I watch that the people who give like that without thinking so much, they really look very happy. When we went to the Eye Institute in India, which you saw, and we paid for like 400, 200 eye operations, all of you paid for it as well. Because it comes from the donations. So it's all of us. And you see the doctor who took us around, Dr. Ramani. I just can never forget him. Because the way he took the patients the way he started, just, him and his wife, I don't know if I told you this story before, but I'll tell you now. They were doctors in India, they're both doctors. And they said, look, there's so much suffering in our country. What can we do with our degree to help the people in our country? Is in order to help anyone, we need to specialize. And they realized that so many people in India suffered from eye diseases. So many, you wouldn't believe how many millions, billions suffer from eye diseases. So they decided to specialize in eye operations. Anyway, they took their little home and they started there. And they started getting people from the villages and getting their friends to help invest. Of course, they had to live too, so they took a percentage of that to just feed themselves. That's how they started. And then what happened? We saw the documentary there. Then, of course, people from Rotary started to see the kind of work they were doing. Other doctors, wealthy people started to see the work they were doing. So they built them a small hospital. But Ramani, when I met him so many years later, he said that him and his wife just wanted to, every time they healed a person, a poor person from the village, they felt so great about it that their love for their work just grew. When the love for the work just grew, the hospitals got bigger and bigger and bigger. When we met him, there were 16 huge hospitals in India. And do you know how they work the hospitals? You just won't believe it. All started from a feeling of service, using their skill in service. The hospitals, you never see them so packed. They have one entrance for the rich, one entrance for the poor. Les, you were with us too, right? Who was, and Chandra, were you there? And Shanti were there. So you can vouch for this, right? And they had one entrance for the poor and one entrance from the rich. In the middle, all the same medicine.
Yeah.
The operations that cost the poor every day was $22. They got it free. They got donations for those patients. Like we came in and paid for 200. They would get donations, or part of the profits they made from the rich would go to the poor. Because they had so much traffic, because of the poor, so all the doctors became really, in fact, if you ever want to sort your eyes out, go to India. I told Dr. Ramani, if I have problems with my eyes, I'm coming there. They have all the top specialists in the world there. They do so many operations per hour. So they've become really, really skilled. Sri Patanjali tells us, if you practice something for a long time with all your heart and without a break, you really become good at it. So anyway, and you watch all this build. So you watch that first in the hospital. Now what they've done is they get young girls from the villages who don't have jobs. And if they don't have jobs, they're forced to marry, have arranged marriages. And then if they don't have dowries, their mother-in-law may beat them up, or there's all these horrendous stories, and it still goes on today, right? It still goes on today. So they take these girls from the villages and bring them to the hospital and train them as nurses. So not only now are they doing the eye operations for the poor, they got vans to pick them up from the villages. They've got young girls, which they're giving them jobs. Young men, they're giving them jobs. Not only that, and now also what's happening is people from the States and England are sending their doctors there to train. So again, that brings in more money to help more people. So you see how the money just rolls in service. It just rolls. When you work that way in love, for a long time without a break, it rolls. But there can't be any fear in service. Sometimes things won't work. Sometimes you will give and somebody will cheat you. We had that in India too. We had that. We wanted to give a donation to the priest, and we found that the priest was a crook. You have to accept that. These things happen, and you just have to
Run away.
We literally ran. We literally ran. Escape. Yeah, we literally escaped. Literally. They were real crooks, almost like the mafia. Honest was quite scary. Quite scary, yeah. So sometimes you make mistakes and you have to let go of that too. When you're in service, you just have to let go. I think all these things, you just have to work from your heart. And mistakes are good because they teach you. They teach you to be more careful, more discriminative next time. Next time when you give money, who are you giving it to, and why are they using it, and where are they using it? So it actually helped us a lot to make us, now I won't give unless I travel. Or I know somebody really, really well, like the Gambia project. I was going to go in January, but I'm not going because I heard it's really dangerous. But I know the girl. Is somebody has to move a car?
Yeah.
Is it? Yes, sorry.
I forgot I had my car in the middle. Okay.
Are you good? Okay, bye, Talita. Thank you. See you.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no. So what was I saying?
About Gambia.
About Gambia. So it's too dangerous. But we know the girl. She used to be one of our yoga students. Her name is Minnie or Shakti in Barcelona. And she's married to a Gambian who lives in the village, so they're working together on it. She's been there, she's shown me her photographs, so we trust her. But it's taught us a lesson. Where do we put the money in? So what I'm trying to show you here with these two stories is, in life we never know the outcome. But that should not be a reason. Sometimes people want to give, and they'll ask me like 1,000 questions. And it's exhausting because by the time you answer their questions, you have no more energy to give. Do you know what I mean? I'll give if this happens and this happens, but I can't tell you what happens. I don't know myself. All I know is we are called to help. Sometimes you get a call of help from a friend, and there's something that pushes you forward to go there, doesn't it? Follow that. That's all I know. I don't know how many opportunities we lose a day when we don't follow that. Oh, I'm a little tired today. You lost the opportunity to serve, because if you had got up and went out and helped that friend, you would have ended up with a happy feeling. Look. But to say, oh, I'm too tired today, you stayed home, been bored, frustrated, and you would have done, helping out a friend would have been far more worth it. And people talk to me about service all the time. But when it suits them. I'm sure you've seen that in your life. For me, that's not service. And if you read all the lives of all the saints and sages, they never did that. They just did what they had to do, when they had to do it, from the heart. And if it wasn't from the heart, you don't do it. That's discriminative discernment as well. That's what we had to learn in India. So now, if I see somebody's a little... Some people are not trustworthy, are they? I'm very honest with myself, sorry. We do that at the center too. Do you know the amount of people who want to come here and talk, right, Lakshmi? The amount of people that have come to us, say, we want to use this, they want to come on a Wednesday. Why do they want to come on a Wednesday? Because they know we have more people on a Wednesday. Why do they want to come? To become popular. Sorry, we're not interested anymore. If they come and they want to give and serve, please come. You're so welcome. Come any day of the week. Come every single day of the week. But half of them want money or want this or want popularity or want us to do print out posters for them. You've got to be kidding. We don't even do it for ourselves. We always short of programs. We forget. So, but that's, so we become very discriminative in inviting speakers here. Not because we don't want to. It's just we're being a little bit more careful. We're just learning more about life, and we want to use our lives dealing with the kind of people as much as we can that bring our lives forward, not backwards. Truthfully, truth is really important. Do they really live the way they speak? Do I really live the way I speak and think? Do I live it? Or do I think all these wonderful thoughts? Because I also know many, many wonderful people who have these fabulous thoughts in their mind, but they never do anything about it. They never do anything about it. And I go, but these are great ideas. But they spend an entire life not doing anything about it. And that's another downfall we have. Because as you think, you become. Why do those thoughts come to your head? Why do these creative thoughts come to you and not somebody else? Why? Because that is the gift from the universe, giving you these wonderful creative thoughts. And you're not accepting the gift because you don't have the courage to face those thoughts and make them into actions. When you keep getting these creative thoughts, that really gives, not everybody has a creative mind, and not everybody can think forward, and not everybody has given that gift of having the intelligence to move forward. If you haven't, move with it. Don't be afraid. Think, I'm brave. I have these thoughts for a reason. Let me apply them. Let me use them. Yes, it takes courage. Yes, it takes hard work. Yes, you may end up a failure. But you know what? You followed your dream. You weren't a coward. And that is, in the spiritual world, that's what counts. That's what counts. Not all the approval you get from the earthly people. At the end of the day, it really doesn't count. I told the story of the Swami and the prostitute last night, and I think I'm going to tell it again. I know some of you've heard it. I love that story. A Swami is a monk, I know you heard it last night, but I'm going to repeat it again because it really is relevant. As you think, you become. There was this Swami, this monk, living on one side of the river in the village, and on the other side of the river was a prostitute. Now the Swami did lots of good deeds and, in his temple and whatnot, and the prostitute did what a prostitute does.
Good deed, she says. Service.
So anyway, every day the prostitute would look out of her window and look across the river, and she would go, dear God, dear God, dear God, please, please, if I have in the next life, please make me like that Swami, make me like that monk. I have to feed a family. I don't have any talents. There's nothing else I can do to feed my family, my aging parents and my children. This is all I know how to do. Please, next life, make me like that Swami. And make me smart so I can do more good in my life. And every day he would look across the river and say, that horrible woman, she's horrible, she's, good for nothing. I don't know why we have people like her in our world, prostituting herself every day. No shame, this woman. And that's what his mind was thinking. And of course, if you think like that for one person, he was thinking like that, very good on the outside with many people, but not very clean on the inside with many people. So anyway, it has so happened that they both die on the same day. And as they're on, the spirits are rising up, suddenly this golden chariot comes and takes the prostitute. And of course the Swami's shocked. Wrong one, it's for me. Chariot is mine. And the three dark men that come from him go, no, that's her. No, you definitely made a mistake. No. We don't make mistakes in the spirit world. But really, I did lots of good in the world. So they take the Swami down back to earth. And they take him to the prostitute's burial site. Her body is thrown on the beach. And the ravens are all eating her body. And he said, you see, she didn't look after her body on earth. And that's what's happening to her body. And then he went to the funeral of the Swami and the monk. Hundreds of people crying, and a beautiful funeral. And he said, you looked after your body on earth, and you looked after all the physical. But the bodies have now died. In her mind, every day was a prayer. Every moment was a prayer. In your mind, every day there was a curse. As you think, here we go. So simply truthful. And this is where we have to examine ourselves all the time. Thank you. No problem. And this is where we have to examine ourselves constantly. What kind of thoughts occupy my mind? Do I have fearful thoughts? Do I get up in the morning rushing and not just being? And do I have thoughts of goodness in my mind? Or am I always complaining in my mind? Or I'm always blaming somebody else for my misery? Or I'm always unhappy about something? Or I'm always thinking about what this person did to me and that person did to me? Because if that's how you're getting up in the morning, that's how your day will be. Nobody punishes you. You've created it. That is the gift we've been given. But if you get up in the morning and you get up with a smile on your face and think, oh, may the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, and me too included in it. May every thought that I think be a blessing to somebody else. May I do no violence in my life to hurt anyone. May I bring peace to the world today, at least to one person, whoever it may be. You watch your day. Make that a practice, because really, as you think, you become. And people get into depression because they say, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Yes, of course, when something goes wrong, you're depressed in your life. Normal, isn't it? Everybody, if something goes wrong, you're sad. Normal. It is normal. What do we do today with a thought? Sri Patanjali tells us we should apply Praktipaksha Bhavana. Say, okay, replace the negative with something positive immediately. If you don't do that, the negative will take over. It will take over. So in order to be good at that, you've got to practice this every day. But most people who are depressed come in like that. They get something that makes them sad, and then they keep repeating it. And they keep repeating it. Oh, this happened to me yesterday, and they tell one friend, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And they repeat it to another friend. And they repeat it to another friend. And then the next morning they get up, oh, how could this happen to me? Why has this happened to me? And they repeat it, and they repeat it, and they repeat it. And why, and why, and why? And the same thing after 20 days, they're in a full-blown depression. Who's created it? As you think, you become. And this is why, in such an old book, 5,000 years ago, it says, when you are disturbed by negative thoughts, opposite, positive ones should be thought of. Of course, everybody grieves. Of course, everybody has pain. Everybody. Please remember this. No one is exempt. But don't prolong it. By prolonging those negative thoughts, depression occurs, many things occur that don't need to happen at all. So as soon as you see this negative thinking start in your mind, distract yourself with something higher thinking, something that elevates you. And do this constantly. Of course, in the beginning it's hard. You won't be able to lift yourself by yourself. This is where I always say, go and speak with someone who is happy, who is joyful. Sri Patanjali tells us in the 4 locks and keys, friendliness towards the happy. Be friendly with happy people. Why? Because you'll be happy. All the great sages and saints say, be with positive people, be with high-thinking people. Spend your time, because even good people can be corrupted when they spend their time with the wrong company. Don't we know that about our own children? Don't we know that? If your child is a good person and spends time with people who are, let's say, oh, have drugs here and do this, and it doesn't matter if you steal this, and let's go to this job and let's try it for fun. What happens to that good person? That good person can be corrupted. So company is really, really important. Maybe you're a really, really good person, and then you go into a company of people who are always pulling each other down. After a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you will become like them. It's the way it is. One bad apple spoils the bunch. And you've seen that when you got one molded apple in the bowl, the whole bowl goes bad. So you have to really watch that in your life. Be around high-thinking people. And if you are surrounded by negative people because of your place of work, because you need to make a living, then you stay. Doesn't matter if you feel a little isolated for a little while. You just stay deep within yourself and always thinking higher thoughts, and bless those around you, even though they're negative. That is the practice. You are sent there for training. Whenever I was surrounded by negative people, I said, training time. Training time. When people attack me, training time. This is my training time. This is what I have to, how do I react to this? Truthfully, you react truthfully, but try not to take the negativity into you. Because if you do, it'll make you sick. It'll make you sick. And that's why there's so much illness in this world today. A lot of illness is due to the stress that I talked about Christmas time. I have to get this. It's all gifts of obligation, you see. It's not given in love. Yesterday I was reading in the Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, she's attending to the children in the kitchen. Yeah. So yesterday we were reading in the Bhagavad Gita, a gift that is given in an inappropriate time to an inappropriate person, just for the sake of giving it, is considered tamasic. No use. No use. And yet we do this all the time. You know, when should a gift be given? In love, in joy, in celebration. You know, this is for you. I want to give it to you for celebration because I love you. I care. That's the way to give a gift. What happens at Christmas time? Too many obligations and there's no more joy. So the gift is no longer sincere. Do you see? Not because people don't want to give. Everybody is very loving. But it's just become too much of pressure. I have to do this. You know, and we got caught in this marketing trap. Because really it's a business thing. You know, all this giving. You know, yes, give. But you don't have to give that much to somebody who has everything. Give it to somebody who doesn't have anything. Do that. Do that. It's so much more rewarding. You feel so good at the end of the day. And if you tell your partners, your husbands, your wives, you know, let's do that. Let's this Christmas buy ourselves little presents under the tree. So we have something to open. It's fun. That's also fun, you know. But let's together, all the extra, go to somebody's home that we know that really needs it, and let's just surprise them and give them a couple of €100 or pounds or whatever. Somebody you know really suffering. Go there together with your family, with your children, and see how you feel after that. See how you feel after that. Now that joy, just to make one person's life better, is quite phenomenal. Isn't it?
So the hampers, this Christmas we plan to do the hampers again, right?
Yes, this Christmas is giving presents. We want to ask you all for food and, you know, whatever you can give, biscuits, food. We'll do hampers again for the social services. I think Lakshmi, you handle that. Bhavani is not here, so will somebody volunteer to help her? Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else can volunteer to help her? Gigi also. So you have 2 helpers.
Thank you.
Yeah. So so we give hampers, and you see the joy in their faces. Last year we gave to just this person, Ukrainian woman. You know, I was having my house built, so I asked the workers, do you know anybody who really needs something? Oh, this Ukrainian woman, she's got cancer, she has no family, she works as a maid here, but she has no job now, because she just had an operation, she had a tumor in her stomach, and she doesn't have a job, she doesn't have money. She doesn't, you know, she'd be kicked out of her house. We at the church are helping her, but it's not enough. So we got a hamper for her and just €100, not much, right? Do you know when that basket, I didn't even give it to her, I asked one of the workers to take it. You know, I was sick at that time last Christmas, yeah. I said, can you just take it to her? I really don't care, I don't want anything. We don't want, SIS doesn't want anything in return. Anyway, he said that when he took the basket to her, she cried and she cried and she cried with joy, because just the night before, she was fighting with God. And she said, I really have no more food, no more this. I can't keep asking people for money. I can't keep asking people for food. And there, the doorbell rang and the basket came. So for her, it was, her hope came back again. Her faith came back again. Her joy came back just from that one basket. So she insisted to see me. She told the guy, who was doing the work in my house, I need to thank this lady. And I told him, no need to thank us. Really, there's no need. To tell her, don't come all the way from, she was in the hills of Marbella, to come here, She's sick. She insisted. She came one day with the workers, gave me the biggest hug, thank me. I said, but it's not me, it's everybody in the center. But it changed her life. Made her rethink so many things. You think about it, how little did it cost us and how much joy it gave. How much joy it gave. So little to make somebody so happy. And so when we think like that and we think we are abundant, because we're really abundant, we're really all of us are so abundant. Don't you think we're so rich? I really think that, especially when I go out in the world and I see so much poverty and so much sadness. I think we're so abundant. We're so abundant. Let us who are abundant serve those who aren't. And when we start to make our lives kind of based like that on, even your own family when they're going through a bad time. Yes, I know it's a pain in the neck. Yes, I know when it's long term, it's exhausting and it takes all the energy out of you. But when those people leave the earth, you will not regret having done that. You will be so grateful that, you will thank the gods for having given you the insight to do that which is right. You will be so grateful. And if you don't follow that, and you just leave them aside, you will be left with a feeling of guilt and hollowness. So, I know many people now going through a very rough time. I was in the hospital today to see Eileen Macilio. Do you all know her? By the way, will you all pray for her? She asked for that too. She's really positive. She's wonderfully positive. But I had a little bit of a shock when I saw her because she's quite tall, taller than me. And she came up with this stick and she was up to here on me. Because her back is so painful, she can't put it straight. And it just broke my heart. But she didn't. You know what she said? Oh, Nalanie, I just look at our master's face every day. I'm so grateful for all the yoga. I'm so grateful for everything you taught. I talk to Gurudev every day. I am not alone. My husband is worse. And he was able to walk out the door. He was there. And he was just saying goodbye to her. And I thought, oh my God, this woman is a saint, And she said, I'm just grateful. I've got in the hospital room next to me, she said, a woman who's just had her leg amputated, she said, and another one who's 81 and with huge tumors, and miserable. I'm just so grateful. And I just wanted to just hug her to bits and tell her how I just loved her, so much. But let us pray for her. Tomorrow she has an MRI. And hopefully they don't mess with her back too much because it does affect the nerves. Anyway, I was there while I was waiting for her because they wouldn't let me in the morning. It wasn't visiting time, so she came out to see me. There was 2 people outside and this young girl, so sad. She said, my father has an emergency operation now. My mother has been sick in this same hospital, in the other ward, for 10 days. She's in a wheelchair. And, she just was so sad. And I said, I know your pain. It's so nice of you to be here for them. She said, there's nothing else I can do. I have to do this. I know I have to do this. I have to be here for them. And I said, good on you. Good on you. There was a pain and there was a peace, if you know what I mean. Hard, it's hard when you watch your family suffer. It's really hard. You go through a terrible time. But there's also a peace because you know you're doing your duty. And duties sometimes are not easy. They're very difficult. Many times they're so difficult to do. That's why we're given them. But if we do them with, that peace inside, and yes, it's going to be tough now, but they need me now. I want to be there for them now. There's a really rewarding feeling. It's higher thinking because you're really helping another soul. You're really helping another soul. Much more, you can get much more from that than going to 10,000 parties, Because at the end of the day, all those people will be just what? Just not there for you at your time of need. Chandra was saying that, when Phil was going, you want your family and your closest friends by your side. Suddenly people come up of the woodwork. We were saying that today. And they want to see him because they think he's going to die. But at that point, you don't want those people. I mean, they never bothered with you when you were living, so why are they coming to see you when you die? Do you know, it makes a bit of hypocrisy.
And coming every day.
Yeah, and bother you.
Every day.
Yeah, and then she had to say, no, we're just keeping this for our family. Because at the end of the day, you know they're not coming because they love you, or because they feel guilty that they didn't spend enough time with you while you were alive, and suddenly you're their best friend. I mean, and it's so hypocritical. You know, and as if the sick person doesn't know that. And my husband was dying, that's what he says, I just want to see the people I love and my best friends. He actually named who he wanted to see. Everybody else, no. So, you know, you realize at the end of your life, there's really very few people that are close to you. And you need to in your life, you know, really it is as you sow, you will reap. So ask yourself, how do you live your life? How much are you willing to walk the extra mile for somebody else? Or every time you do something for someone, it becomes a business. I did this for you, you do this for me. Which is what's happening with many relationships today. There's no love in giving. Today you're tired, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm tired, you'll do it. It's all, I did this, you do it tomorrow. I did this, you do it tomorrow. I did 2 loads of laundry, so you have to do 4 loads of laundry. Oh my God, look at the conversation. It's only laundry and so much argument over laundry. If you have a problem with it, discuss it. Shall we do it together? Shall we all share this? I'm a bit tired today. We'll both do it together. It's really fast. But I don't see that. It's all this bickering and arguing and fighting. That's what I see all the time. And it's so sad. It's such a waste of energy in this short life that we've been given. So, to end the talk, just go back with this one thought. What is occupying my mind most of the time? What do I think when I wake up in the morning? What moves me? Just think those simple things. Who am I? Do I really want to waste the rest of my life being miserable? Or do I want to use it happily and joyfully? Choice is ours. That's the only choice we have. We don't have much more choice. That's the only choice we have. So make the right choice before the day is gone. It really all is in a thought. It's that simple.
Which of the wolves are we feeding the most, as you say?
Pardon?
Which of the wolves are we feeding the most?
Yes. Which other wolves are we feeding the most? Absolutely. Feed thoughts of kindness, goodness, compassion, love, peace, laughter. Laugh a lot. Feed laughter every day. Promise yourself you have to laugh. Tell somebody you love them every day. Tell somebody you love them. It feels so good. It's like you're loving yourself back just by saying it. It opens hearts. And you know, this is one of the experiments that Dr. Dean Ornish, a disciple of our master, wrote the book Reversing Heart Disease. He found that most men, in those days when he first started realizing that you could reverse heart disease, most men had heart attacks, and you know, statistics show that, because they didn't express themselves. They didn't express either their love for somebody, or they didn't express their fears, they didn't express how they were suffering inside, and that because they didn't express, they didn't get the nurturing. The heart didn't get the love it needed because they didn't express it. They didn't get it back in return, because if you sow it, you will reap it, but if you don't sow it, you won't reap it. So they were expecting results without giving. And when they were taught to express themselves, immediately, most of them got better, very quickly. It's really interesting. You should read the book Reversing Heart Disease by Dr. Dean Ornish. You know, amazing. what just expressing yourself does. So, and one man never told his wife he loved her because he felt he just couldn't. It wasn't a manly thing to do. And when he started to do it, he started to become happy. He couldn't, when Dr. Dean Ornish taught him how to say, I love you, tell your wife you love her, go home and tell her that. Not only did he become happy, she became so happy. And they had the marriage they never had, How ridiculous. Does it take a heart attack to do that to people? It does sometimes. It does. So every day, say something nice to somebody. Because why? It's a practice. But say it only if you mean it. Please don't be a hypocrite. If you don't mean it, better just close your mouth. Just keep quiet better until you learn to really mean it, And thank you all for coming on this rainy evening. It's been so wet today. And we'll finish off with a mantra. Are there any questions? Okay. If you just close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath. Exhale slowly. Inhale again. Feel the cool, clean air fill your entire body with joy and peace. And as you exhale, send this peace to your homes, to your family, to your children, to your enemies. Inhale again. And exhale. Breathe in deeply. And breathe out deeply. We'll sit in silence for 1 minute. Satoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Nitroba Amritam Kamaya. Lead us from unreal to real, lead us from darkness to the light, lead us from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Shanti. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light.
May all our families, friends, and especially those who hurt us be filled with
Peace and joy, love and light.
May the light of truth overcome all the darkness that lives in our minds.
Victory to that light.
Jai Shri
Guru
Satguru Satchidananda Ji Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Jai.